डॉक्टर अपर्णा पाटील. आज मी तुमच्याबरोबर माझ्या पॅशनबद्दल जरा शेअर करणार आहे. माय पॅशन इज रायटिंग and also along with it a very happy new year to you. Last 2 years have been very taxing due to this monster COVID-19. I hope it completely goes off in 2022. That coming back to my passion, that is writing. I am basically a teacher and I teach college students. My subject is accountancy. I've worked in various educational institutions and right now I'm doing private coaching for students in commerce faculty for the subject of accountancy. Writing has been a hidden hobby for me and it took a serious shape, or I would say a concrete shape 5-6 years back due to my niece Diya, my sister's daughter. She loves to hear, as a child she used to love hearing to stories and I used to tell her many stories. I used to read and I used to tell her stories. Then the time came when all the stories, the treasure of stories was exhausted. Then I had to create my own stories. So I did create my own stories and then she said that why don't you give me a book, written stories to me. So I wrote a book and I gave it to her. My sister liked it and she suggested that why not try publishing it. So I tried with it and I published it. It was the first book was a self-publishing work and it was published under the name of Diya's Bagful of Stories. It had 7 stories and they were fiction for small children. After a year, I wrote the second part of the book, Diya's Bagful of Stories Part 2. It was a continuation of the first part. It was a children's book, again a self-publishing work. But the readers liked it and they told me that they would like to have the third part as well. But during this period my PhD work was going on and I had to survey 12 villages. The topic of my PhD work was the study of entrepreneurial competencies of rural women in Kolhapur district. So I interviewed various women in 12 different villages in Kolhapur district. When I met these women, the stories really touched me and I thought that these stories should reach a wider audience. So I decided to write something about them. So what I did was, it was not possible to write about all the women. So I selected 12 women and I wrote their life stories and I wrote a book on it. The book was called as The Small is the New Big. It was a compilation of 12 stories of 12 women entrepreneurs in Kolhapur district. They each one had a story of their struggle and story of victory. The book was published by Granth Publications, Kolhapur. It received a very good response and it motivated many women in rural areas especially to take up entrepreneurship as a serious occupation. Now the fourth book, that is what it's being released now, that is an engaging slice of life. What motivated me to do this is, few years back I was going through a very low phase of life and someone who is very close to me, he told me that you should write, it will help you unwind and it will help you open up. And I did it and it really helped. At that point of time, I went back and I tried to remember all those incidences that had made an impact on me, specifically those which made me learn, unlearn and relearn. I went through all those rough drafts and something just struck me. I decided to apply the right side of my brain and it soon created it attracted my interest and I felt engaged to it. And then this is how this book was created. This is how this book came into existence. Now the stories in this book are loosely based on my real life experiences. They are not 100% factual. I've just taken a thread from my diary and I have constructed prose around it. There have been few additions, few deletes and few replacements, and it is also a compilation of 12 stories. Each story has got its own individual identity. They are not related to each other. It talks about varied things, but at the end when you hear the stories or when you read the stories, you will feel good. So they are feel good stories. You will feel motivated, you will feel distressed. As I said, there are a wide range of stories. Just to brief about all the stories, and few stories about it, I can tell you that I've written it in first person. So it talks about the protagonist's first experience on stage behind the mic and how a second chance changes her life forever. It talks about the protagonist linking of the past through the recurring dream. It talks about how a timid and fearful girl was able to become a source of inspiration to many. It talks about a journey of not being able to be a doctor and being written off for it, but ultimately becoming a doctor at the end, having a prefix of doctor behind the name. So it basically, as I said, they are feel-good stories. You will feel good after reading the stories. The process of writing has been extremely enjoyable, like all my other books, and I hope that this book gives you more joy than what I have experienced as a reader. So I request you that you please buy this book. It is available on Amazon. If you are in Kolhapur, it is available in Mehta Publication. So you can buy the book, or the best way nowadays, as everyone goes for it, is Amazon. So you can get it in Amazon in 2 days. Okay, thank you very much.